I'm with a ministry called Aim for Christ, and AIM in that feather you can see stands for American Indian Missions. And this is something that the Lord has placed on my heart way back, over 20 years ago when we were living in California, as I was going through Bible college, and then I got into pastoral school. One of the assignments we had in our last year of pastoral school was to write a vision paper. And we were instructed to write how the Lord would use our life. We had the whole last year to pray on this, and it was a tough assignment because they wanted 32 pages. I'm like, how am I going to fill 32 pages, you know? And so I'm praying, and what was really heavy on my heart, it's always been children, kids to youth, just because as I grew up, I just saw how Satan was attacking the children. You know, even when I was in high school, and I was thinking, you know, the high schoolers, Satan's really going after the kids. And that's something that is near and dear to my heart. And as you can see, you know, I'm part of the Cal Kids, and I'm supporting Anna now. And so that has been a part of it. I wrote that into the vision paper. But the other part was American Indians. I saw a documentary that really affected me. It just showed this really poor reservation. It just showed what looked like a third world country inside of the U.S. You know, and it just shocked me. And then just hearing the stories of what they're going through, the addictions that were passing down from generation to generation, and it just felt like that was something that was really heavy on my heart. That it's a mission field that's being overlooked, a mission field that we fly over to get to other mission fields, you know, which is a good thing. But I just felt like I wanted to come. The Lord's calling me to fill the gap of reaching out to Native Americans, and in particular, Arizona. So as I'm in California and I started praying, Arizona has 22 different reservations here. And so I just knew one day the Lord put this heavy on my heart. One day we're going to get here. And so I talked to Anna after I wrote that vision paper, and I said, Anna, what do you think about us moving to Arizona? And with no hesitation, no. It's too hot, We have our family here. So, you know, time goes on, and I'm praying, Lord, you know, if this is your will, you have to touch our heart. Because I've seen where if one person in a marriage is for a ministry and they're not getting the support, it's not going to work out. So I said, Lord, if this is from you, you have to touch our heart. So I made it a point that for a whole year, it took about a whole year, I didn't even bring it up. I didn't bring it up at all. So, you know, time goes on. I'm going to try to make a long story short, but we ended up selling our house, and we were in between homes, and I remember her cousin is a realtor, and we were looking at a house in Rancho Fontana area, and we found this house, and we said, you know what, this is it. I think this is the house we're going to get. And that weekend, this kind of dates me, but I got a page on my pager. and the page basically said from the boss, Monday morning when you get in the office, everyone needs to dial into this conference number. We have an emergency meeting. And so we never got a page like that before, so, you know, thinking the worst. Anyways, we told the cousin we want to go with this house, so we, you know, got the offer written up. And she said, the offices are closed on the weekend, so Monday morning when you get in the office, fax it right away to me. I guarantee you, I'm going to get you this house. So anyways, I go to the fax machine Monday morning, I'm dialing the number. Right before I hit send, my friend pops out of the conference room. Mike, the meeting's starting. So I head into the meeting, and you know, I didn't get to hit send, so I'm in the meeting, and the boss is on the speakerphone, and he goes, well guys, we have some bad news for you. It turns out that our company has just purchased land in Arizona, and the executives want our department to be the first to move out here. And you can just see everyone's face drop, and internally I'm like, yes! I knew, you know, the Lord's doing something, and let's see. Then, as we're in between homes, when we were house sitting at my brother-in-law's, she was upstairs for about an hour, and I'm flipping through the channels, and a documentary comes on Native Americans. And this reservation that they're showing, it reminds me a lot of San Carlos. And with the poverty and the alcoholism, and it was focused on these kids, these youth that were in high school basketball. They did great basketball. They were the number one in the state, and they ended up going into nationals. And by the end, they came back winning second in nationals. And but in this story, all the plans and the ambitions and things that they wanted to do didn't happen. Parents of one child ended up going to jail, so that person had to step in to become the parent. Another one was dropped out of school. Another one took on addictions, and it just, as the credits were going up, it really grieved my heart. What's missing here is a youth pastor, someone here to be with these kids, to teach them about the Lord. And I told myself I wasn't going to say anything to Anna, but at this moment, it was so stirred up. I said, I'm going to say it one more time. So I started walking up the stairs. As I'm walking up the stairs, I could hear her footsteps coming down the stairs. So we meet right at the landing. And I go, Anna, there's something I got to tell you. And she goes, no, Mike, there's something I got to tell you. I go, okay, go first. So she goes, well, for the last hour, I've been upstairs praying, and the Lord said that we need to go to Arizona to do this ministry. And so there's confirmation now, from my work, confirmation from my wife, and the doors are just swinging right open. So we go on, and prior to the actual move, I get a call at my office, and it was some guys from Calgary, Gold Springs. They said, hey, Mike, we're going to be searching, scouting some parks to do a children's outreach, similar to what we call Camp Gideon. They called it SunQuest. Would you like to come? I go, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking like Echo Park or one of the big parks in the LA area. They go, we're going to go to an Indian reservation to scout. And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I'm on board. So 5 guys, we get to a car, head on out to Arizona. And on this trip, at this point, I'm praying about where to start, and I really am feeling that we're going to start in Yavapai. Yavapai, it turns out, I didn't know much about my grandmother's heritage, but she's Yavapai Apache. And so I really thought it was going to be Yavapai where we're going to start. And they're taking me to San Carlos, and I've never heard of San Carlos. So I get to San Carlos, and I see how vast it is. I see how run down, how broken, how, it's common to see people staggering drunk. It's really, really sad. It's heartbreaking, but it looked overwhelming for me. For a new ministry to get started, I hate to say it, but I really felt like internally I'm saying, this isn't for me. I couldn't say it out loud in front of the other guys, but I just said, I don't think this is for me. I want the Yavapai reservation, the little nice small reservation that looked a lot cleaner, and the Lord revealed to me that I basically was acting like Jonah, and He confirmed this, that as we were leaving San Carlos, and keep in mind, I've never heard of San Carlos. I said, hey, let's stop off in Phoenix where my grandmother is. I just want to see if she needs groceries. So they said, sure. So I knock on the door, and she opens the door, and she goes, Michael, what are you doing here? I said, oh, we came to visit the reservation. There's 22 reservations here. The reservation. She goes, oh, did you go to see San Carlos? I'm like, how did you know? I've never heard of San Carlos. Well, what made you say San Carlos? Gila's closer, Yavapai's down there. She goes, well, Mike, you might not realize this, but you're actually part San Carlos. And she shows me the family tree. So she's full Apache, but she's half San Carlos, half Yavapai. And so the Lord started making it very clear. And to make a long story short, as we started going into San Carlos to scout more, the Lord was bringing key people right in front of me. I just went to go buy some fried bread at a fried bread stand, and the lady there, she was watching the stand for her daughter, but she was one of the tribal council members. And when she found out what we're there for, she goes, we need this outreach that you want to do. I want to get you connected with our vice chairman. And doors just started swinging open. And make a long story short, the Lord got us out here. And over years, we've been running, doing this ministry little by little, really slowly. And just in the last few years, we went in all the way full time now. And it's been growing with a lot of people I see here, a lot of supporters. We have a team we call the A core team for Calvary East Valley, and it looks like possibly another core team starting in Queen Creek. And we're going out there weekly to do what's called Camp Gideon. Is one of our big outreaches. You can kind of think of it as a one-day VBS. And what's really neat over the years, it was focused mostly on the small kids, but now it's going K through 12. And the first time we entered high school, we had high schoolers coming in. We had maybe 4, and it was mostly small kids, and then 4. You know, the big kids are like, this is for little kids. But now it's getting lopsided the other way. We're getting more. The teens wanted to be a part of it, so our teens are now getting up. It was at 16, and then 20, 22. So we're getting some big teen groups now. But on my time, I got the cue that I got to wrap this up. So, okay, so now we are doing Camp Gideon, and now we're also doing a weekly food bank. So we're partnering with this school here, which the kids every year have been gathering food. And then we have Gilbert Christian Schools at Bella Vista also in gathering food. So every week we're able to bring out food, and we start a food bank and prayer tent. And they see us every single week. It's to the point where when they see us, they'll just say, hey, I need prayer. Can you pray for me? Happened this last Saturday, actually. We were just out, Carrie and I were out there talking, and a guy came up to us. Hey, can you come and pray for my wife? And it's such a blessing to see that we've gained a lot of respect on the reservation over time of just showing up and being there, loving the people, pouring into them. We have a youth group now called Overflow. It meets every Saturday at 1. We had 2 brothers and sisters. They just came yesterday, and by the end, they both received the Lord. One thing, I'm trying to bring this awareness out to the town of Gilbert in particular, but for the town of Gilbert, a lot of people don't realize this. A few years ago, the tribal council came down to meet with the city town council, and they set up a 100-year deal to get hundreds of thousands of gallons of water from the San Carlos Reservoir. So we're being supplied, we're actually being benefited from a third world nation that needs our help. And they have such corroded pipes that there are some houses, when they turn on their faucet, they're getting black water. And so we're praying about doing an outreach. We're calling it Living Waters Outreach, where we're going to build rain catchment systems on those houses that need that. There's a district called Moonbase. If you get a really hot summer, the wells for Moonbase dry up and they don't have any water. So that's one of our outreaches. We have a Living Gardens outreach where we're making vegetable gardens, which opens doors for us as we're building the garden to say we need to come back and check up and see how the irrigation's going. It's really because we want to check how the family's doing so we can pray with them and continue to share the gospel. We have a children's outreach, which I mentioned. We have it includes Camp Gideon, it includes Overflow. We are starting a sponsorship for the kids that are part of Overflow, and some of the families that we've been meeting. By God's grace, we've had some kids meeting with the Howells coming out when we had the fires raging through. We were able to get those kids out. One of the kids in particular, we're able to show job skills now. Let's see, and I know we have, Children's Outreach, Living Waters, Nehemiah Construction. So we were able to partner with Grizzly, who came out. We had one lady that we've been ministering to for years. Broke my heart to see this, but she became homeless, and she built a stick hut, and she was so proud of it. She goes, Mike, look at this. This is my house I built. And it broke my heart, but I had to smile and say, oh wow, this is amazing. And she gave me a little tour of the stick hut. I took the pictures back and I showed the friends at Grizzly, and we were able to get some construction companies to donate things, and we built a tiny house. And we're now moving forward. We want to start getting some more tiny houses built up, which we're calling our Nehemiah Construction and Outreach. We've gotten requests for that. So to fund these things I've mentioned, from the youth, the Nehemiah, to Living Waters, to the Life Gardens, we are starting a campaign. We're calling it 300 Aimers, and we're looking for 300 supporters that would help fund all the materials and supplies that we need to keep these things going, which opens up doors to continue to love these people and to share the gospel with them. So I want to thank you guys so much. I see a lot of people that are part of the core team, and people that are just been praying for us. So I thank you guys so much for your love, your support, your prayers. So Lord bless you guys.